YouTube, it's Rom from Ramen Noodles TCG, and today I finally have the long-awaited Greninja EX deck profile for you. So those of you who know me know that Greninja is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and since I play the Pokemon TCG, I naturally would gravitate towards Greninja cards. So this Terra Fighting Greninja EX was released in Twilight Masquerade, and saw almost no play and was outshined by its fellow Stage 2 Terra, Dragapult EX. People have been trying to break this card for ages, and I think in this current format, it has the potential to be the best it's ever been. This is still a rogue deck, but I think this really has some legs. I got to Arceus rank with this build of Greninja EX, and that's what I'm showing off today. So obviously, talking about Greninja EX itself, for a single water energy, it does a 170 and then searches a card, and can snipe the bench for a water and 2 colorless, to snipe 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So, as a Stage 2 Terra, you may be thinking of Sparkling Crystal, to bypass the 1 energy attack cost. That's what we tried earlier, but it didn't quite work. A lot of people have settled on Grand Tree as a spec of choice for this deck, and I definitely agree. Essentially, Grand Tree allows you to instantly evolve into your Stage 2 Pokemon from the deck by evolving from the basic into the Stage 1 into the Stage 2. So to support Greninja EX, obviously we need some way to help with this poor damage output. 170 is not knocking out any meaningful multi-prizers, and you're going to struggle to take some big KOs against neutral targets. One of the cool things about this deck is that there are fairly relevant fighting weak Pokemon in the format. Think Mega Kangaskhan EX, think Fezandipiti EX. Those both die to a single Shinobi Blade, so that's pretty cool. There are some nice targets for Greninja to go after that are relevant to the metagame, which is quite nice. But for, obviously, not everything is going to be weak. We need some support to deal damage. That's where Dusknoir comes in. So Dusknoir blows itself up to put damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. So we built this kind of like a Charizard deck with 3-2-2 line of Greninja EX, the standard 2-1-2 line of Pidgeot EX, and 2-1-1 line of Dusknoir. Fairly reasonable here. Because we're playing Grand Tree, we have to be very careful of how we use it because it's a stadium card. Our opponent can make good use of this as well, arguably better than we can in some matchups. So we need to be mindful and have a way to clear the stadium before we pass turn to our opponent. You can do this with Pidgeot's Blustery Wind attack, or you can use this Chien-Pao here from Surging Sparks. So you just you search this off of Pidgeot, and then you snow sink the Grand Tree away. That's the main idea. That's why we're playing this. We're running Munkidori for extra damage. This deck obviously struggles with damage, so we're playing Munkidori. To find the Grand Tree, we are playing 3 copies of Colress's Tenacity. This searches the Grand Tree and one of our energy cards. So one of the cool things about this deck is that it makes use of the Ignition Energy out of White Flare. This card is able to be 3 colorless energy for evolution Pokemon. So with a water and an Ignition, you can Mirage Barrage and snipe your opponent's benched Pokemon. If you're able to get this set up fast enough, you're able to wipe your opponent's threats off the board before they're able to get set up. Think sniping Dracloaks, Hoot, Charmanders, Riolus, etc. Yeah, just being able to snipe your opponent's stuff is pretty good. In the same vein, we have Hilda. We're playing 2 of her to find our evolution Pokemon and our energy cards. We're also playing 1 Dawn. Dawn just searches one of each stage of Pokemon evolution here, so you're able to mix and match and get different pieces of different lines depending on what you need. I was playing more than 1 Dawn originally, but I cut it down to 1 because I didn't find myself manually evolving all that much, and I didn't find myself needing the multi-search of Dawn. For draw power, we're playing 4 copies of Lillie's Determination and 2 Iono. We're playing 2 copies of Boss's Orders and a countercatcher for gusting. We're playing 1 Briar. So Briar wasn't originally in this deck, but since we're playing Pidgeot and Greninja, we have a lot of searching, and since Greninja is a Terra, we can find ourselves Briar and then throw it down to take games in certain sticky situations. You can modulate your opponent's prizes down. If the opponent has taken 3 prizes so far, you can Dusknoir knock something out and then activate Briar because the Dusknoir blows itself up and gives up a prize. And then now that you're down in Briar range, you can play the Briar and win the game. So yeah, that's why Briar is in here. Building this deck was really hard because you have to there's a lot of room for like customizable tech one-ofs, and it's about finding the right balance of all of those one-ofs to try to figure out what works. So we're playing 2 copies of Ultra Ball for extra consistency, along with a Nest Ball for Buddy-Buddy Poffin, because all of our basics are pretty small. We are playing, speaking of small basics, we have the Budew. Budew is really good in basically every evolution deck, just as a way to stall for a little bit. This is primarily a going first deck, so we don't attack super often with Budew instantly, but it's still very useful. And we have Fezandipiti for extra draws. We have Super Rod. Super Rod is mainly in here for the Dusknoir line. Once you blow up a Dusknoir, you can recycle them with Super Rod to find them again later. We're playing 3 Rare Candy to speed up some evolutions. I couldn't find space for 4, so we're running 3. I'm playing 1 Air Balloon to help with trapping a little bit. Maybe this could be Switch, but I like the reusability of Air Balloon. Artazon is an alternative stadium target for Colress's Tenacity because we need another stadium target to play to search. Artazon is pretty solid. You could also play something like, I think it's Jamming Tower to shut off tool cards, but I didn't think this was all that useful in this format anyway. So I opted for Artazon instead. And we have the Luminous Energy for the Munkidori, alongside 4 Water, 3 Ignition. You go through 2 to 3 Ignition basically every game because you want to be barraging with Greninja, and you use Ignition Energy for retreating a fair bit. So there's a bunch of other cards that I've considered playing. A big one is Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. This card here, Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. This is a nice finisher for late game scenarios, but it's got 3 retreat cost, and it's a basics, so Ignition Energy only gives it 1 energy. So I wasn't comfortable playing this. Yeah, so I decided not to play Blood Moon. I've seen some interesting lists that are playing some interesting tech cards. I saw one Japanese list playing TM Crisis Punch. This card, Crisis Punch. This guy was playing Town Store as a Colress's Tenacity target to find the Crisis Punch. That was pretty interesting, but I didn't like that very much. I thought that was kind of sus. As far as other tech cards, I'm playing just Night Stretcher for recovery and Professor Turo Scenario to pick up weakened threats and liabilities, kind of like Charizard would. So, what is the reason to play something like this over Charizard? Well, Charizard is a lot better of a deck, but Greninja is a little bit more flexible. This deck is a bit more technical. It requires a bit more forward planning. I kind of like that forward planning aspect. And I like bench sniping as a game mechanic. Mirage Barrage appeals to me a lot, and it's very satisfying to snipe Pokemon on the bench. Yeah, so as far as matchups, I won't lie, the matchup spread for this deck is pretty bleak. Um, Gardevoir is really, really bad. That's this deck's worst matchup. Um, Greninja gets one shot by all of Gardevoir's attackers because it's a psychic type deck. And Greninja's Shinobi Blade doesn't clear any meaningful thresholds in that deck other than like the Fez, which kind of sucks. Yeah, that's definitely our worst matchup. Also, Munkidori spreading damage makes things pretty hard because this deck takes a lot of two shots, and two shots are not super reliable, and especially in the Gardevoir matchup, where a Munkidori can shift around damage. Yeah. Goldengo is also not particularly good. Dragapult is like okay-ish. Like Pult and Zard are like fine. They're not 50-50, but like maybe like 40-60. They're just better decks than us. But with a good enough hand, you can beat um, Pult and Zard somewhat reliably. We do really well against Terrabox and EVBox. Flareon doesn't stand a chance. We're very good at knocking out Hoothoots with Mirage Barrage, and the colorless Pokemon with a fighting weakness fall to a single Shinobi Blade very, very easily. For that reason, we are also quite favored in the Absol box matchup, maybe slightly. Um, if you're able to get set up, you can Shinobi Blade the Mega Kangaskhan for 3 prizes. So yeah, that is everything I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Have a great day.